Hi guys. Good evening, all of you. Hope all of you can hear me. Anyone, guys, can you please confirm? Is I'm audible, guys? Hello.
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Okay. Right. So, guys, we almost all completed almost all the basic, the fundamentals to start with our actual implementation. So, what we are going to learn in our training program, guys? So, mainly our concentration. That means our main, the training, whatever you are going to learn is nothing but how to create the visuals. So basically, we are going to learn about by the end of this training program. So you will be learning about how to create the visuals basically according to the business requirements. So creating the visuals, not only just creating the visuals, guys. So how we are going to share these visuals to your end users. So how the people can access this particular report. So all these things we are going to learn about all these application, guys. So creating the visuals, how to share the reports, okay, which is going to be sharing the visuals, and apart from that, how to create something called as an dashboards. Okay, so creating of which is going to be some kind of an dashboards. So a lot of which is going to be we are going to learn a lot of things as part of your training program. But our main concentration is how to creating the visuals, sharing the visuals, all these things we are going to do with the help of a tool called as an Power BI, guys, which was created by developed by Microsoft. So we are going to completely getting some expertise on the Microsoft Power BI. So even I started with some basic fundamentals like if you want to work with Power BI, so what are the different tools? What are the different environments we have to do? We have to work with that. Initially, I told you guys, first we have to work with something called as an Power BI desktop. So first we are going to work with Power BI desktop, guys. Then after that, we are going to work with something called as an Power BI service. And then we are going to work with something called as the Power BI mobile. So these are the three components mainly we are going to be studying about this, guys. So Power BI desktop, Power BI service, Power BI mobile. First, we started with Power BI desktop, guys, right? So first, initially we started with Power BI desktop, and already in the last class, I told you how to, I discussed already how to download and how to install the Power BI desktop, guys, right? How to download and how to install the Power BI desktop. That is what we already, we discussed about that, right? Fine. So now the thing is, yeah, so obviously even yesterday also, I discussed about like what is going to be the Power BI project lifecycle, guys. So I told you there are 4 stages are there. So the first stage is nothing but first we have to get the data. That is getting the data, or what we can call it as import the data, guys. So first what we have to do, guys, we have to import the data, guys, or something called as which we have to get the data. From where we have to import the data, guys? We have to import the data from something called as an a data source. So nothing is there. The name is very simple name, guys. Data source. Why we call it as data source? It is nothing but source of your data. So whenever we are creating some kind of a visuals, whenever we want to create some reports in Power BI, there must be some data must be there for us. So who is providing the source of the data, guys? That is nothing but what we call it as data source. So coming to the data sources, guys, your Power BI supports almost all somewhere around 200 plus, almost all 200 plus different type of data sources which your Power BI supports, guys. That is one of the main advantage of using Power BI, guys. Almost all somewhere around 200 plus, guys. Remaining they don't support. That means remaining tools like Tableau or something like if we work with ClickSense or etc., they don't support that many number of data sources, guys. Okay, but Power BI supports almost all. It is going to be 200 plus different type of data sources it will support, guys. Got the point, guys? That means your Power BI is capable to connect and get the data from almost all 200 plus different type of data sources. Nothing is there, guys. Sir, then in that case, why the Tableau and etc., how they will work? How they will work, guys? For example, nothing is there, guys. For example, some system is there. Maybe, for example, some kind of a system is there, guys. Maybe it is going to be something like for example, SAP, for example, SAP. You know that, guys, you maybe heard about some kind of an SAP. Maybe you're not aware about that. No worries, does not matters with that. But I think you guys has heard about something called as an SAP, guys. It is what we call it as an ERP applications. So in enterprise, whenever they want to connect all your applications, they'll use as some kind of an SAP. They will be users, guys. Okay, in an enterprise, there is a lot of different types of environments will be there, guys. All that environments is going to be done, created with the help of the SAP, which is what we call it as enterprise resource planning. So, for example, some data was there, guys. Actually, if we talk about Power BI, Power BI may be capable to, which is nothing but what they will do, guys. Power BI can capable to directly connect with SAP. Not all with SAP, all applications, but we have something called as an SAP HANA. So Power BI can directly connect to the SAP HANA and directly it can get the data, guys. That can get the data. For example, in the case if it is not supporting, for example, if Power BI does not support, guys, connecting with SAP HANA, the Power BI cannot connect with the SAP HANA, guys. Then what they will do, guys? Then what they will do, guys? The client says that that means we have a data in the SAP HANA. Using the SAP HANA, you can get that particular data. Then as a Power BI developer, what is my recommendation? Let us say that if Power BI supports, well and good, I can directly connect with them. Otherwise, what the client will say is maybe Power BI is not supporting. So what I'm going to do is we will create some kind of an intermediate. So maybe it is going to be some kind of a database system. So what the SAP people will do is they will, whatever the data that is required for reporting, they will dump all that particular data to that particular database. Maybe they will dump this database to something from SAP HANA. They will connect, they will move that particular data to something like an SQL Server database. Now Power BI can extract the data from SQL Server and what it will do is it will create the reports. So if it is not directly supporting, guys, what they can do is intermediate. They use some kind of an intermediate storages which are supported by Power BI, and this SAP, whatever the SAP data was there, that will be sent to this database, and from this database the Power BI will extract the data from that particular database systems, guys. That is what practically that is going to happen. If it is directly supporting, your Power BI can directly connect to the, which is going to be their SAP systems. Even, for example, even if the Power BI supports also, guys, even in the case if Power BI supports connecting to the databases also, what they will do, guys, for security reasons, they can manage for security reason, because this is going to be the complete client application, client data. There is going to be all your business scenarios, everything is available. So that's why what they will do is that particular client may says that no, we can't give the access directly on our SAP because we have a lot of enterprise data is there. They can do, they can manage some securities and all these things, they can manage it. But still they don't want to access that, they don't want to allow the users to directly access this their particular databases. Then they says that no, we don't directly give the access. We'll dump the data into some other intermediate databases or something like that. From there you can access them. So what these SAP people will do is depending on the requirement, whatever the data they require, only that particular data only they will send here, and from the Power BI, they can access the reports. Like that, Power BI can support almost all 200 plus different type of data sources, guys. But will you, so sir, are you going to learn about all these 200 plus data sources? Not possible, guys. Not possible. So obviously, see, if I want to make you to access the data from SAP, first of all, we require some SAP system is required. So in your system, SAP system is required. So how can you set up all the SAP in your system? Not possible, guys, right? That's why what we are going to do, guys, though that means not all 200 we cannot learn, guys, but some of the which is going to be which are popularly which are used, I'm going to use that kind of a data sources. I'm going to use as here, guys. So what type of databases or what type of data sources we are going to work, guys? Let me give some idea. So what are the advantages and disadvantages? You will understand, guys. So what is the main advantage and what is the main disadvantages? We can understand these particular scenarios, guys. So the first option is going to be, what I can say is the first option is going to be nothing but, guys, files. The first one is going to be nothing but it is going to be something called as a files. You know what is a files, guys? Obviously, we know that files are going to be nothing but which are available in our local computer. So which is available on my local system or in my network system, it is available as a file format. And you know that, guys, anything that is stored, you have to store it in a file format. If you want to store some images in your system, how do you store the images, guys? Obviously, images are stored in a format of which is going to be some file format, JPEG files, It may be it's going to be JPEG files, GIF files are there, PNG files is there, BMP files will be there. Obviously, some kind of a files we have to use them, guys. Isn't it? Some kind of a files we have to require, guys. Without having the files, how can you store something on your computer? Anything that you want to store, you have to store it in a, which is going to be in a terms of some file format only, we have to save it. Okay, so examples of files, guys. Like normally, I think you have an idea about that. Normal TXT files, text files. Okay, CSV files, Excel sheets. These are all going to be some different types of files format where you can have your data, guys. So in a normal TXT, in a normal text file, I can store the data, guys. I can represent some data. In a CSV file, I can represent the data, comma separated values. Excel sheets, we can represent the data, guys. Not only that, guys, even we have a lot of other data, what we are going to be using them, right? So it is going to be different types of files, like something called as an JSON. We have something called as an XML. If you want, guys, you can write so many different types of files and all these things, what we can write, guys. So we can store it in a SAS file, etc., etc., guys. So these are what, guys? These are going to be the different types of file formats or files, the file types, where you can represent some kind of a data, we can represent them, guys. Okay. So in a TXT, I can store some data or I can represent the data. In a CSV file, I can represent the data. In a JSON file, I can represent the data. In XML file, I can represent. SAS file, I can represent. At different formats and different, which is going to be, they have each and every file will have its own advantages and disadvantages will be there, guys. Okay. So let me discuss about like what is the advantages and disadvantages of this particular files, guys. What are the main advantages and disadvantages of these particular files? So when it comes to these particular files, guys, what is the main advantages and disadvantages? Once if you see the positives and negatives, what we're going to be say positives and negatives. The first positive point is I can say that what is the main advantages of using the files, guys? For example, I have a TXT file is there, or a CSV file is there, or a JSON file or XML file. So if anybody wants that file, for example, some of you may ask me, sir, can you share the file? Easily, I can share the file very easily, guys. I can share it in the normal in the chat window. I can share the file, isn't it? I can send the file, guys, using some. I will send the files through the through the chat only. I'm going to send the files, guys. So I can send it through the chat, not required. Even I can send it in the WhatsApp, or I can just send it as an attachment to your email, or I will upload it to the Google Drive and I can share the link to that particular Google Drive, guys. That means whenever the files are there, the main positives is going to be nothing but I can easily shareable, guys. Easily I can share these particular files with anyone. Through WhatsApp, I can send, through email, we can send to the, which is going to be in the chat window through the Zoom only, I can send it to the Google Drive. Many options are available for me. I can share the files very easily, guys. That is one point. And the second positive point, if you talk about them, as you know, guys, files are going to be, that means whenever I say it is a file, to handle the file, guys, whenever you want to handle this file, you guys does not requires any kind of an expertise. So what kind of a softwares we have to use, guys? Notepad, Excel software. So only these are the basic things that are required. So you don't really require to have some kind of an we can say and any expertise or any advanced softwares, and nothing is going to be required, guys. So no additional softwares are required, no additional expertise is required, guys. So easy shareable, and which is going to be no that means no expertise, no special softwares, and which is going to be no special, which is going to be expertise are required, guys. No special software and no special expertise are required. So you guys need not require any special which is going to be software need to be installed. How can you open a notepad, guys? How can you open a txt file, guys? With a normal notepad you can open it. So you need not to install and download any notepad, because notepad comes in your system by default, guys, isn't it? Notepad is already available in your system, guys. So even CSV also, Excel, you require some Excel software is required. So Excel is going to be part of your MS Office. It is already installed in your system. Nowadays, in everyone's systems, we are getting the, when you buy a laptop, guys, obviously there are giving a default Office softwares. Previously, we used to buy, guys, but nowadays it is not required because They're also automatically some kind of an, not a complete Office 365 they are not giving, but which is going to be Office 2024 or Office 2025, some student version or something they are talking about that. At least some basic minimal we are going to get in, guys. All features will not come, right? So it is some basic MS Word, MS Excel, and PowerPoint presentation. These three are sufficient, guys. You don't require any other extra softwares are going to be required. These three softwares are basically sufficient, guys, right? Fine. So easily shareable, guys. No special softwares and no special expertise are required, guys. So guys, if we have any questions, don't hesitate, guys. Feel free to discuss, guys. So don't think that these are going to be very small points. So everyone is not at the same level here now. So generally in our school days and college days, what happens? Everyone in the classroom will be at the same level, isn't it? Obviously, everyone after completing the 6th standard only, they will come to the 7th standard. Directly, nobody will comes directly from 1st standard to 7th standard directly, right? So that's the reason at that time in school level, everyone is at the same level. But here, everyone may not be at the same level, guys. Maybe some of them are going to be fresh graduates who do not have any much idea. Maybe some expertise will be there. Some experienced people, 2 to 3 years experience, who already having a knowledge of databases, they can understand very easily. So if you have any sort of doubts, guys, don't hesitate. Don't think that it is a very small doubt or which is going to be the basic questions only. You are here to learn, guys. You are not here to coming just only for a time pass or something like that, right? So you came here to learn, right? So don't hesitate. You are allowed to unmute yourself and you can speak if you want, guys. Okay. Otherwise, there is a chat window is there. Post your questions in the chat window. Okay. Fine. No special softwares or no special expertise are required, guys. Very easily I can share these particular files, guys, right? Easy shareable, guys. No special which is going to be softwares and no special expertise are going to be gets required, guys. But the only disadvantages, not disadvantages, we don't say that. The only limitations, guys. We know that, right? Files generally supports very small size data only they can support, guys. Large volumes of data, something like GBs to TBs of data, if you want to store, they are not going to be supported, guys, right? So it is going to be the negatives, which we can see the limitations is going to be nothing but supports, which is going to be small size data, guys, or small volume of data. It is going to be support small volume of data, guys. Like for example, it can be some few KBs to few MBs only, guys. So KBs and MBs are very long back, guys. Now every data is going to be, even if you download even photo also, it is a little bit minimum of MBs of file, guys, isn't it? So the KBs and MBs are very long back ago. So, but sometimes some data will be very small size, guys. Generally, this data like TXT files, Excel sheets, maybe 5-6 MB data also may be there, guys. They can handle only up to, which is going to be somewhere around 5 MBs, 2 MBs, okay, or maximum 10-20 MBs. Beyond that, they can't store in, guys. Even 200 MB also they can't save it. Even 200 MB also they cannot handle the data, guys. So only few, which is going to be tens of MBs only, they will be supported, guys. Beyond that, we cannot handle. But advantage is I can share the files very easily, and I don't require any special softwares and expertise is required, and supports very small volumes of data, guys. So TXT, CSV, Excel, JSON, XML, SAS file, etc., etc. Then the second category, guys, these are going to be something called as databases. So I think most of you have heard about something about databases, guys. So we know what are databases. Databases are going to be nothing but, we know that, no, guys. What are databases, guys? So databases are some kind of a specialized softwares which allows you to manage the data, guys. Which allows you to manage the data, guys, right? So there are so many databases are there. Examples, I think you guys has heard about some various databases, guys. We have a database called as an Oracle. We have a database called as an SQL Server. Different companies have their own databases, guys. We have SQL Server. We are having something called as, which is going to be, what shall I say, guys? It is going to be some databases like MySQL. We are having something called as an DB2. We have a database called as an Teradata. If you go on writing, 30-40 databases are there. Even SAP HANA is there, isn't it? SAP HANA. If you want go on writing, guys, you can use as many you can write in, guys. At least 30-40 databases we can write them, guys. So again, same thing, guys. What are the positives and what are the negatives of that? First, we'll talk about negatives, guys. So for example, I'm using one I have a database called as a SQL Server database is there. So for example, I know a little bit. I was an expert in SQL Server. So I have the SQL Server database in my system, guys. So using this data, I'm connecting from Power BI and I'm generating the reports. So in my system, I already have a SQL Server database software is there. Okay, so whenever I want to access this, I have to install the SQL Server database and I have to know a little bit knowledge of SQL knowledge is required, guys. I have to require some basic knowledge of how to manage the data and all these things what you require. So if you guys also, so I'm using a SQL Server data. If somebody asks me, sir, can you give me your SQL Server database? Can you give me the SQL Server database? I cannot give just like a file. I cannot send it like a in a WhatsApp or something like that. I can't send it, guys. What I have to do directly, I can't send a SQL Server. SQL Server is a software. So what you have to do, I have to take a backup of this database. What I have to do, guys, first of all, I have to perform a backup of a database. I will share the backup file. What you have to do, simply if you have the backup file in your system, that is not sufficient, guys. What you guys have to do, guys, you have to download that backup file and you have to know how to restore this backup file into your database. That means you require some expertise on that. How to restore a database, how to take a backup of a database, all these things we have to know that. Second thing is your system should also require a SQL Server database. Without having any database in your system, you cannot work with them, guys. So that's why some kind of an which is going to be special softwares, there are going to be some kind of a special softwares and some expertise like SQL or something like this is required, guys. Some special softwares and some expertise are required. Without having them, you cannot work with them. You cannot manage them, guys. Simply if you say that, sir, you are working in SQL Server, can you give me the backup file? I'll give you the backup file. But if you want to restore the backup file, your system should have a SQL Server database. Sir, I have Oracle database or I have MySQL database means not possible, guys. Must and should, the backup should be the same database, backup should be there. You cannot restore one backup into another database backups, we cannot do. So some kind of a special softwares and some expertise is required. Just now we discussed, all of them are not at same level. Some may have the idea about databases, some may not have the idea about databases. As I said that in our training program, we are going to learn something about a SQL Server database, but we are not yet started with them, isn't it? We have not yet started with them, guys. That's the reason. So till I discuss about some SQL Server, you cannot manage them, guys. So leave it. So don't use any SQL Server databases right now, guys. Later in our coming classes, we'll discuss about them. So these are the main limitations, guys. But what is the advantages, guys? The main advantages is they will support large volumes of data, guys. Supports, I can say, large volume of data, guys. They can support a large volume of data. So something like large volume of data means some few terabytes, some few GBs too, which is going to be a few TBs of data they can support, guys. I've just written only 4 or 5 databases, guys. There are so many databases are there. Informix is there. We are having a NetZa is there. We are having Postgres SQL is there. We are having something called as an Amazon Athena is there. So a lot of databases are there, guys. Google BigQuery is going to be there. Some 30 to 40 different type of databases are there, guys. So we don't require all the databases. One database, if you know, that is sufficient, guys. The remaining databases are going to be almost all similar. Once if you know how to access one database, remaining databases are going to be very similar, guys. You don't require any special knowledge and all these things we don't require. Once if you have a knowledge of one database. So the second category we are going to work is databases, guys. And coming to the third category, guys, this we are going to use them practically, guys. We'll use files. I will share the files, guys. And we also work with SQL Server because we are having some SQL Server program, SQL Server as part of our training program. So we'll see some basics of SQL Server, then you can start working on SQL Server. And third and most popular nowadays, guys, must and should everyone has to know about that. Some kind of an cloud storages, guys. So nowadays, most of the clients saying that our data is in cloud. So can you access the data from the cloud? So obviously, cloud has been become very popular nowadays, guys. So everyone has to have a minimum knowledge of which is going to be the cloud is going to be gets required here, guys. Right? So a little bit of cloud and all these things, what we have to require about that. So there are different types of cloud storages are there. Like examples, like we have Microsoft Azure is there, Amazon Web Services are there, or something called as an Google, which is going to be a cloud platform, GCP, what we are going to call it as GCP, we call it as. It's nothing but Google Cloud Platform, guys. So these are going to be the different types of, which is going to be the cloud storages, what we are talking about that. So something like this, we have some kind of different types of cloud storages are there, guys. So again, same technique, guys. What are going to be the main limitations? I say that cloud storages generally, there does not comes at a free of cost. There are going to be costlier, guys. The first thing is going to be there are costlier, because it is going to be all cloud storages. Even they give set initial 1 month free. After that, at least you have to pay, guys, minimum somewhere. If you try to utilize it, guys, at least even if you use a basics also, that means even if you use a very basic level utilization also, if you do, it is going to be, we have to pay some minimal, guys. Sometimes you have to pay 10 rupees, 20 rupees, okay, or sometimes if you use a little bit heavily, 100 or 200 rupees we have to pay, guys. We need not to pay in thousands, but 100 200 rupees per a month they will send you the bill. So there are little bit costlier, guys. Second thing is going to be, obviously need some expertise. Obviously, if you want to work with cloud storages, need some expertise. For example, something like if you want to work with AWS, something like we are going to be having a different users will be there. Like what is a root user? Okay, what is going to be IAM user? Okay, something like we are going to be having a different type of, which is going to be some different types of users are going to be there. So little bit knowledge we have to require. Root user is nothing but administrator, guys. Root user is nothing but what we call it as an administrator user. So IAM is nothing but which is going to be normal users, which is having a limited permissions and accessibility will be there. But advantages is going to be nothing but supports very large volumes of data, guys, but costlier. Supports very large volume of data. So if the clients nowadays uses very large volumes of data, guys, every day only they will generate a some terabytes of data, they will store it beyond terabyte, guys, beyond terabytes of storages. So within 1 day, they will generate 2 TB, 2, 3B of data, guys. Just imagine for 1 day, they generate say 2 TB space, guys. You know that, guys, 2 TB means almost all it is equivalent to, if your computer is having somewhere around 1 TB. Generally nowadays, laptops are coming with either 512 or either 1 TB. 1 TB, 512 is a generally they are using, guys. So almost all, if we can say, it is going to be daily for 1 day they require, which is going to be equivalent to 2 laptop storages are required. Imagine within 1 year how much storage you require. Within, for example, 5 years, how much storage is going to be required. So for example, you know that, right? Banking applications, banking systems. Okay, and what about your Amazon e-commerce sites? So how much data they will generate per day, guys? For example, if you talk about YouTube, so how much data is going to be generated per day? Isn't it? A lot of data is going to be generated, guys. So for that kind of a storages nowadays, there are depending completely on the cloud storages, there are depending, guys. So supports very large volumes of data. You can say beyond terabytes of data, guys. Beyond terabytes of the data. Beyond terabytes means petabytes of data, PBs, XBs, ZB, etabyte. I think now it is going to be etabyte, guys, YB as of now. So previously it is ZB, it is zettabytes. Now it is going to be TB. Sorry, it is going to be YB, etabytes of storages. So mainly to support very large volumes of data, cloud systems are having some advantages, guys. So cloud systems, we need not to we don't require any infrastructure and all these things. We need not to buy. Everything is going to be provided through the Google, through the cloud itself. They will be provided. No infrastructure, nothing is going to be required, guys. That is what we have to practically, we have to work on it, guys. Okay. So that is what exactly we can say that. So these are going to be the different type of, which is going to be the storages, what we have to work with them. So files, which is going to be nothing but the files, the databases, and which is going to be nothing but the cloud storages. So everyone having, see, if you see every storage is having some positives and negatives, guys. So just it depends on your usage, guys. For example, beginners, files is supported, guys. Files is sufficient. For intermediate level, guys, you have to go along with the files. You have to learn databases. If you want to go a little bit advanced level, guys, you have to understand something about cloud storages. So these are all going to be some of the things that are going to be required, guys. So that's it, guys. These are going to be the different type of storages which we are going to work on it. So anyhow, I'm just showing the application, guys. I think last class we have already done with the installation, guys. This is going to be the Power BI desktop, guys. Right. Let me open a blank report today. I'm not importing anything for today's class, guys. From tomorrow, we'll start with our main implementation. I'll start from the tomorrow's class, guys. See, guys, so just don't worry. There are multiple options are there. Can you see, get the data from another source? We have some import from Excel, import the data from SQL Server, or paste the data into your blank table. Or here we have an option called as an get data. Here also, guys, Excel workbook is there. We have a SQL Server, text or CSV. We have a different options are there. Click on the more option, guys. Click on the more options here, guys. We can see, guys. See, all categories are there. Files. Slowly we'll understand, guys. Files. We can see Excel workbook, text CSV, XML, JSON file, okay, folder, PDF file, Parquet files, etc. Databases, you see, guys, how many different type of databases we have. Almost all somewhere around 30-40 databases are there here, guys. As I said that no, SQL Server database, Microsoft Access, Oracle database, okay, IBM, sorry, IBM DB2, Teradata. Okay, we are having a Teradata, guys. Informix, Netza, MySQL, Teradata database, Sybase, Postgres SQL is there, SAP HANA is there, Cloudera Impala is there, Amazon Redshift is there, Google BigQueries are there. Okay, Snowflake is going to be there, Hyperion Sbase is going to be there, guys. See, guys, there are so many different type of databases. Some databases you may not have heard about them also, right? Some databases we never heard about. Even I also didn't hear all these databases names, guys. Next, if you want to see something called as an Azure, so these are all some kind of an Azure cloud storages, guys. There are some online services are there. See, guys, how many are there? Many of the names we don't know, guys. We never heard about all these names. Even I also have never heard about some names I know, guys. Databricks I know, because I worked on big data systems. So I know about little bit about Databricks. Okay, these databases we never heard about these guys. Okay, GitHub we heard about a little bit about GitHub, but how it will works we don't know. Okay, something like we can see guys, Salesforce is going to be there, Google Analytics is going to be there. So Azure, which is going to be DevOps, is going to be available. Something it is saying that only boards are supported. We don't know what are those guys. We heard the names, others. Here also, guys, we can see Spark is there, Hadoop is there, R script is there, Python script is there. Something like we can see some kind of an here also 30, 40 we can see, guys. 40 plus only we can see the application, guys. Like this, we can work with various different type of databases and all these things, what we have to work with them. So just an example, you don't require to understand about most of the cases, guys. For example, I have something called as an SAP HANA was there. So let me connect SAP HANA database, click on connect. Some credentials are required, guys. So it is saying that the connector is required. It is, first of all, it is saying that this connection requires one or more additional components to be installed before it can be used. So some kind of an additional connectivities are required, guys. So without knowing them, we cannot go for this implementation, guys. Okay. So see there some kind of an which is going to be third party databases or all these things we require it, guys. So we don't know them because they knows which is going to be who are working on that particular databases. They knows about this particular application, guys. Okay. So don't worry, these are all not we are going to require to install them, guys. So some kind of an connectivities and all these things what we have to require it, guys. So which we are not going to do with that. So in the case if we require, then we have to look into that. Otherwise, it is not going to be gets required here, guys. Otherwise, it is not going to be required here, guys. Okay, fine. So it does not matter, guys. So just I'm saying that some kind of an which is going to be extra connectivities and all these things may be required, guys. So that is what we practically we have to work with that. So that's it, guys. That is going to be some of the things, but for easy, that means for our convenient, guys. So easy to share and easy to work. Generally, mostly we going to work with the files, guys. We also work with other type of which is going to be we are going to work with others also, guys. But some kind of an which is going to be some kind of an which is going to be basic, which is going to be we require some kind of an a basic implementations and all these things what we have to require, guys. Okay. So almost all we completed, guys. I think last week we already done with 3 classes. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday we have done. Saturday, Sunday we didn't take in the class. Almost all Monday, yesterday, and today Tuesday, guys. Maximum we have done with the basics, which is going to be all these things. And up to now, the demos are completed. I think all of you guys also attended from the last 4 days, 5 days are attending. you guys are attending. So maximum the demos you got to know about like how is our course curriculum and all these things, guys. So from tomorrow onwards, the link will changes, guys. So if you have already registered, so we can ignore it. So who has not yet registered for the course by paying the required fee amount, guys? So you have to register by tomorrow evening, guys. So tomorrow, by tomorrow morning, if you get complete your registration, because free demos are already completed, guys. So from tomorrow onwards, the link will changes, guys. So the guys who has already registered by paying the fees, you will get an updated link for the tomorrow's class, guys. Please join with the new link, guys. Okay. So that's it, guys. So from tomorrow, I'll start with the implementation, guys, the practicals, like how to start importing your data and all these things. I'll start it in the tomorrow session, guys. Okay. So that's it for the today's session, guys. Just for today, we can stop it here. Anyone, guys, any questions if you have? Anyone, if you have any questions, guys? Anyone, if you have any questions, guys?
Yes, sir.
No? Okay. No? Or is, guys? No. Okay. Okay, then that's it for the today's class, guys. So the guys, tomorrow maybe the link will changes. My team will update you guys. So regarding the new link, if you have registered for the course, you will get the updated link. Please join with the new link from the tomorrow onwards, guys. Okay. Thanks for today, guys. We'll meet up in the tomorrow session, guys. Thanks all of you for today.